Welcome into the second of our Battle Frontier meta analysis videos. This is the Serene meta. My name is Fish from Pallet Town PvP, and whenever there is a custom meta in Go Battle League or in any of these grassroots formats, then we do a breakdown of the metas on this channel. This is just a 6-minute summary breakdown just to get the ball rolling for you so you can then do your own research on top of that. But we also live stream a complete breakdown of the meta where myself and accomplished battler Lyle Jeffs, we go through like all the different shielding scenarios and energy lead, and we look really in depth into all the different matchups, put together a couple of teams as well for just ideas on that. So if you want to take a look at the complete breakdown that we did for this video, I'll throw a link to that in the description of this video, or you can click here. And if you want to join us on future live streamed complete breakdowns, we love having people there because people contributing to the conversation helps drive the analysis, so the more people there are talking in those chats, the better I think those breakdowns go. So if you want to be notified of future complete breakdown live streams, go to the Pallet Town PvP YouTube channel. The top section there is upcoming live streams. You can look at the ones that interest you and click notify me of those streams for when they go live. In the meantime, here is your basics, and this I feel is actually a pretty balanced meta. There's really not a lot of hard wall situations going on, with the exception of Azumarill will hard wall a lot of other relevant picks, and we will get to that in a second. But during the course of the complete breakdown, we came across a couple of cores which are gonna be pretty dominant cores, and they are the Azumarill with Defense Deoxys and Pelipper with Diggersby. So those two cores on their own provide a lot of coverage over the rest of the meta. And in fact, that second one, the Pelipper and Diggersby, that can be rounded out pretty nicely by a Defense Deoxys. So those four Pokemon looking pretty darn good in this meta. There is a Pokemon that can beat all four of those, and that is Jellicent up the top of the meta. But like I said, no hard walling going on here. Like it's close with all those Pokemon. Like Azumarill, Jellicent into Azumarill is a bit of an awkward matchup. There are certainly situations where Azumarill can win that one. In the Sims, it will actually say that Pelipper beats Jellicent, but that is relying on successful baiting. If you manage to call a bait as the Jellicent user, then you will definitely win that one. And into Defense Deoxys, like you do have to worry about the Thunderbolts as well. So really interesting matchups, but Jellicent can and does beat all four of them. So Jellicent going to be really good. Speaking of Jellicent, there are plenty of water types that are relevant in this meta. This is one of those, we get them every now and then, a meta where you can easily have multiple water types, 2 up maybe even 3 water types on your team. So we've mentioned Jellicent, we've mentioned Azumarill, and we've mentioned Pelipper. They're the top 3, but we've also got Greninja, which is a fantastic water into Jellicent. Normally Jellicent beats other waters, but Greninja is the exception there. You got Whiscash, especially the Shadow version, and Whiscash, even though it's pretty highly ranked at number 10, we think it probably should be a little bit higher because of that. We believe that when the Sims happen, they assume that you're not getting the debuff on the first Scald, whereas if you do get the debuff on the first Scald, that can flip even more matchups than what the Sims can already tell you about. So you've got Swampert, you've got probably not so much Walrein, you've got Golisopod has some play, but does get pretty hard walled by the Jellicent, especially if you're running the recommended Fury Cutter for this meta. You've got Swampert, Dugong, Gastrodon, Samurott also has play, and look, I like Barbaracle, but it does have a lot of difficulties, such as the double weakness to grass and the being weak to the Mud Bomb of the Whiscash. It can survive a Mud Bomb and then does double super effective damage back with the Grass Knots, but it's not a pretty matchup. But consider it. So we've talked about all the grasses. We've talked about all the waters, which means you might want to look at grass damage, and there are a few different options here. You've got Oinkologne is your best one because it's your normal type with really not many counters. I don't think there are any counter users, are there? There's just Defense Deoxys, and you've got these airdropped counter users in there, the Hitmontop and the Conkelder. I don't think either of them are gonna be super good, especially with Defense Deoxys, Azumarill, and Pelipper all being as popular as they'll be. I don't know about these, but Defense Deoxys is probably the only other solid counter user, the only solid counter user in the meta. So Oinkologne with the Trailblaze, really solid. Raichu, Alolan Raichu with Trailblaze, also quite solid, although you might want Thunder Punch instead of Trailblaze for better bait potential. Mew, so you can certainly run Grass Knot on that. You got Farfetch'd with Leaf Blade, but that has to be a Hundo level 50, level 51. And of course there is the Barbaracle. Other quick little picks, you've got your Alolan Raticate up here, which looks good, but like, you've got your Azumarill there, which is such a hard wall to it. You've got your Defense Deoxys, which can counter it down pretty comfortably. And even against Jellicent, when you're running Quick Attack, like, you can't farm it down, you're relying on crunches, and don't run Bite. Whatever you do not run Bite. You've got Munchlax, which I don't think is as good as Oinkologne just because of that moveset. And Malamar as well. Look, Malamar, I can't in good conscience recommend it, even though, like, with an energy lead, like, with a couple of Psycho Cuts energy lead, it becomes quite good. I just don't think it works as well as what the sim suggests. But look, that's it. That's the basics of this meta. If you see anything else that you like, let us know in the comments, because that kind of drives the conversation and helps others to decide what they're running, and may the leads be in your favor.